Okay, got our drills. Pick the smallest drill bit that you got. Put it in the chuck of the drill. The moon has been sanded up to 220 grit. Drill our hole through our moon. And then now we're going to drill a hole through our cedar tree. I always start my hole off on angling like this because of this, if you try doing it this way, it's just going to slide right on down and get your thumb. So we always start it off like this and pull it out and get the angle you want, drill it through. Now we've got a small hole. It is a 1/16 hole. That's what this drill bit is, 1/16. Always put your drills back in your kit so you don't lose them. If you haven't seen it yet, our friend Jordy over there at Carving Fusion has made headlines in the paper. Him and Grumpy Jesse. And Grumpy Jesse has stole the limelight from Jordy. Grumpy Jesse is Jordy's kind of like mascot guy. And he's pretty cool. Okay, so now our tree's ready to have the moon hung from it. I just might clear coat this moon and leave it the way it is because this basswood is pretty white. It's white. Not, full blown neon white, but it's, I think, about the right color for a moon if it was cleared. I think we're just going to clear this moon and hang it from this tree. Okay. Now, this was our snowball that we were talking about. Let me put this drill back in its spot over here so it's out of the way. Otherwise, we'll have drills bouncing on the floor and all kinds of mayhem. This is my burr skull. Jordy has a burr head, and I picked this up at a yard sale for $1. Okay. Ouch. I got knives in my head. Ouch. And normally I keep my knives in their tubes because it does not take much to mess up these blades. They're very fine and they're very, 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 very sharp. One more very, very sharp. And I love carving with my knives. The Dremel is just so much faster. I have that Dremel 4000 over there with the flex shaft that I use. And I've also got the Kutzall Extreme bits. But then again, I've also got some saber tooth bits. And they work great for removing a lot of material. But as you get going, you're like, these little things, you're like, man, them bits are just too extreme. So then they've got these nugget bits. They're all right too. They move a lot of material, especially on small objects. And then, of course, we buy these bits, carbide. Get them on Amazon, $20. Got all kinds of shapes in here. They work well. But anyway, back to the knife. So I needed to protect the blades. And what I did is I took this dollar store or yard sale skull and filled it with instant foam. What a mess. It had foam blown out of every hole in it. The jaw had foam tumors on it. It was ridiculous. But fortunately, for some reason, the instant foam does not like to stick to this plastic. It must be polyethylene because nothing sticks to polyethylene. And you just peel it off and there he is. But I like these knives because I always take them with me. I've got a little tackle box that's got knives in it. It's got chisels in it. I usually keep this guy in it, which is one of Dremel's worst. I don't know. It just has no power, but it's all right with a diamond bit for sanding. But if you start putting any bit with any type of teeth to it, it bogs it right out. I mean, listen to that. Okay, you're like, okay, that can't have much power, and you're right, it does not. Jordy won one from Dremel, and I think he showed it on his channel, and that's the last we seen of it. Don't know where it went. Okay, the knives I like taking with me because wherever I am, if I'm at a picnic or at a park or waiting for a doctor's appointment or something, always got my knife, always got a block of wood, and my little tackle box thing that I take with me. And just look how that just chonk, gone. Cross grain, no problem. When you're not able to have your power tools with you, don't think that you don't quit carving. Just carve. Just take this with you. Take a knife with you. A pocket knife. I've got some really nice pocket knives that are really, really sharp. And if, let's say I'm walking around and I don't have this with me, and I find a stick, especially a Y stick, I'll sit there and I'll make a little chicken out of it with the Y stick. It's pretty cool. Back on target. Okay, this snowball. Let's see. Come here, Dremel. Ugh. I have my Dremel. I picked up an IV stand at a yard sale. It's adjustable height. It's got wheels on it. I think I paid $1 for this IV stand, and it's got a little thing at the top. It's like looks like a C. It's for, I think, hanging the bags or whatever. But this cable fits right in. It's so nice. It's like it was made for it. It just holds it there. It's awesome. If you happen to run across one of these IV poles and you have a Dremel, or I have a Dremel 732 up here. That's the bigger Dremel. It's the industrial model Dremel. It's the Dremel they use in industry. I bought it because I was a maintenance technician and a machinist, and there's a lot of times I couldn't get an air line to my machine, and I needed to use those big, heavy carbide burrs that really tear crap up. And that's what I bought. And I used it, and it worked great. And I also use it here with my 1/4-inch bits. Okay, we have this sanding bit in here right now, which for this little snowball, you see, it's just a little bit big. I mean, we can round it off with it. Let's go ahead and do that. Still got to buy a tripod. That little vise thing's all right, but I can't really get the angles with the camera that I want. These little drum sanders are awesome. They just, I mean, you can get different grips, and hey, if it hits your finger, look at that. I ain't got no fingerprint. But it didn't hurt me. That thing just loves taking off material. Nice and light touch. You don't want to press too hard, because if you press hard, it will dig in. And we're just shaping this a little bit. Just kind of getting it round. Now, because it's going in that little girl's hands, what I'm going to have to do is flatten the back of this ball off. Because you can see there isn't much room between her hands and her jacket. Plus, I need to leave a little nub on there to fit down in that hole in her hands. So it looks like she's holding the snowball. But then again, we got this cookie we're going to have to thin down to put in there too. It's going to be a big chocolate chip cookie. I was talking to her, and I asked her what her favorite cookies were, and she said Oreos and chocolate chips, and then she said, well, really any cookies, as long as it's cookies. So, if I keep flattening this off, it may be a cookie. Okay. See, snowballs aren't perfect anyway, so, nothing's perfect. You make it by hand, it's not going to be perfect. Just forget about it. That's my problem. keep working and working and working, and I'm trying to get things perfect, and nothing will ever be perfect when you make it by hand. You can get pretty close to perfect, but there'll always be some little imperfection that nobody may ever notice but you. And for me, that just drives me crazy. Okay, here are those carbide burrs. And I think that I found the best burrs are the ones that are called flame burrs. I don't know if you can see that. That's a flame burr. And if you talk to Jordy over there at Carbon Fusion, this is his go-to burr right here. It's a Kutzall Extreme flame burr. The flame burrs, I think, are so versatile because you've got, you know, you got a nice point on them, and then you got that big fat area to really get into some stuff when you want to take material off. And I'm probably making this video way too long, but I've received a lot of comments. We want to see you carve. I'm like, okay, well, don't be careful of what you ask for because you just may get it. Okay, so now we got to get down in there. We want to round the bottom of that snowball off. And get a little more, just a little more shape to it. Of course, I still have it on low speed from the sander. Let's pick it up. There we go. So now we can get in down here. And I think that's the thing that about these flame berries is that you can get that little point right in there, like that, and just round that off. So nice. And bring it, you can just bring it in. And this is why we leave this base on here. Could you imagine trying to do that without a base? Man, that thing would be shooting all over the place like a ping pong ball. Now remember, you want to leave that little nub on there. And round it. Keep down in it. You don't want to be able to see that nub. You want to just have it so it looks like a snowball. We'll just keep working that down there. Round it up. Round it, round it, round it. And remember, snowballs are not perfect. They're far from perfect. Okay. Now we're going to cut it off. Or should we sand it? I think we should sand it a little bit too. Sand it while it's on the pedestal. Or oh, there we go. It's off, and we did not get our nub. May have to do that again. Too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. See, this probably will, well, there's a little bit of a nub. Snowball. Okay, but we're going to have to come back in here and put, you can see where it broke off the stand, the little stand right here. I wish it would have broke off down there where that nub is, but come on. Watch the fingers. Bring it back. That's the smartest thing I've done today. Light touch, not a lot of pressure. Otherwise, this is an aluminum cutting burr, so it has a heavy spiral in it. And what we're watching, you just gotta be careful so that it doesn't grab, because if it grabs, man, it'll wing this thing. This little ball will be bouncing all over this joint. Okay, across like that. I need one of them clapper things, you know. So when I want to turn my Dremel on, just Dremel comes on, Dremel goes off. Yep. Okay, there we go. There it is. There's the snowball in her hands. So, and it's in there pretty good. So I think, yeah, I think that'll work right there. May have to take just a little more out of here and a little more off here. See, I'm not prejudiced against tools. I use all my tools. If I've got it, I'm using it. I know, Doug. Where's your cutting glove, Rob? Where's your cutting glove? It's in my box. But I'm filming right this second. Man, that thing snaps. That will lay that finger open like you have never seen. You should always wear your cutting glove. But see how sharp that knife is? Boy, that thing just slices right through there ever so nice. And then we'll, nice, gentle pressure. And believe me, this basswood will shear. It's an awesome carving wood. But you also got to remember, it's probably the softest hardwood on the planet next to balsa. Balsa is considered a hardwood. You know all them things that them little airplanes and stuff is made out of balsa? Right. Oh, hey, believe it or not, don't fit as good as it did before. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, well, may have to do. See, now that little nub is actually, you guys can't see it, but I can. That little nub is actually bottoming out in her hand. So we are going to have to, this is a paring cut, by the way, when you're pulling the knife toward you, which you should never do. But when you're pulling the knife towards you, make sure you keep your thumb down out of the way. And with this little thing and the amounts of wood we're pulling off, just nice light pressure. Just scrape that stuff away. Get that edge a little round. See, we just cut that corner off a little bit. See, we want to match the snowball to kind of match the top of her hands so that it looks like she's got it kind of like this. But there, now it's in there. Okay, so we just had to taper that ball off a little bit. I know I've been yapping. Blah, 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 and too much. That's me, motor mouth. Do I want to do the cookie now or wait for another video? I mean, it's just a little thing. You might as well throw it in, Rob. Throw it in. They won't mind. They're going to get bored and they're going to go turn you off and go someplace else. Go to another YouTube video. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Oh, well. Okay. Now, the cookie is not on a base. Okay. But you can pick these guys up, these forceps. You can pick them up all over the place. They've even got them where they're long and they look like two little spatulas on the end. And I use these things for everything. I use them for carving. See that, man? That's got that piece of wood in there. It's not letting go. The longer ones are even better. This is just one I happen to have laying on the counter here on my workbench. So I was doing some work the other day where I was soldering a plug on to a cord. And for holding the two ends of wire, you can't beat these. Your fingers don't get burnt and you can solder it. And I know, but we're not here for the soldering thing, Rob. Yes, I know. We're here for the wood carving. Keep your thumb out of the way. Make that paring cut. See if that way there, if the knife slips, right over top of your thumb. Right over top of it. So you don't really gotta. Now, you never want to do this. Never want to do that. You have no control at all over this knife when you do that. See, it just whoop goes wherever it wants to. I learned this trick from Doug Linker. He used to be Doug Outdoors, but now he's Doug Linker. And he's got a YouTube channel. And that guy's great. He carves everything. He does a lot of miniature work. Always use your thumb and your knife. Use your thumb as your, Doug says, motor. Use your thumb to push the knife. And see that? You can take off big old cuts. Yeah, don't do it that way. You can take off big cuts using your thumb, and that knife stops. You got control over that knife. You start doing this all willy-nilly, you got no control over that knife. You're breaking your wrist. Yeah, you know, and that just, whoo, way goes the knife, and man, things bad happen when you do that. So just use your thumb. You can either push with your thumb or use your thumb as a pivot and keep your fingers from in front of the knife. See? Just like that. Beauty. And you'll get the results you want. I mean, if you want to make a little cut, or if you want to make a long cut, or if you want to make a big cut. See, I can do this to this piece of wood because I know this is going to be another elf. And I know I need to shape this hat. So, mostly I use my knives when I'm not where my power tools are. If I'm out and about, I always seems like I always got a knife. And if I don't got this knife, I've got a pocket knife. Just for, whatever. You know, sometimes you go to a restaurant, and them knives they got for cutting a steak isn't worth crap. So I take my own knife. I know my knife's sharp. The only thing that will hurt you faster is a dull knife. Dull knives are the worst thing you can have. A dull knife will hurt you before you can say dull knife. Because you got to push so hard. But this, nice and easy. Okay, off subject again. That's me. We're shaping our cookie. Okay. I may stop this cookie and just go put one on a pedestal. Just for the reason that it would be easier to shape. So we're going to end this video right here. And remember, just carve. Bye.